Hey everyone. So now that we're good at telling time, right? The next step is to look at two times or two clocks and talk about what's changed, how much time has passed between them. You might have to ask which one is before, which one is after, and sometimes you might have to calculate how many minutes have passed. It's called elapsed time, and it is pretty tricky business. So let's take a look at a couple simple examples, and then we'll get a little more difficult as we go. All right, so let's talk about math class. Math class starts at exactly 9 o'clock a.m. So we know it's 9 hours, 0 minutes in the morning. I see it. Now it ends at 10 o'clock a.m. So the only difference between these, the AM didn't change, the minutes didn't change. The only difference is we went from 9, which is here, and we jumped, whoop, to there, to the 10. So the lesson time is exactly 1 hour. And I'll show you that 1 hour with one bounce. It started at 9, it stopped at 10. So the change was 1 hour. That's how much time elapsed. Let's take a look at another one. That change is going to be important, but I don't know if we need it right there. All right, here's another time. Okay, so something starts at 3 o'clock, maybe baseball practice. Baseball practice starts at exactly 3 o'clock p.m. So this is in the afternoon. And it ends, whatever it is, at 3, because it's still 3. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Mr. W, it's not exactly on the 3. No, it's not. But it's still in 3's yard. So I know it's 3 something. It's past 3, like halfway. So it's half past. And that makes sense because look at this. The minute hand is showing that it's 30 minutes past. So in this case, the 3 doesn't change at all. The 3 is the same on both clocks. What really is changing is we're getting closer and closer to 4. We're getting minutes and minutes closer to 4. How many minutes changed? Well, the blue hand started at the 12. Let me grab blue here. And it went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There it is. I found the blue hand. It changed all those times. 10, 15, 20, 25. 30 minutes later. The time that was taken is this much time. Half the clock is 30 minutes when you're counting the blue hand. This is time passed. Now, sometimes, though, they won't have you calculate the time like I was doing just then. Sometimes they'll have you look. Oh, this is another one that's calculating the time. I'm going to save this one, actually. This is the one I was looking for. Sometimes what they'll do, not show you that clock right now, is they'll say, here's a clock. Tell me something about it. Tell me 1 hour before it. Tell me 1 hour after it, right? So in this case, we have a clock that says 8 o'clock. But they want to know 1 hour after your 8. So it was 8, but we need to go 1 hour after. See? So now suddenly we're 9 o'clock is our answer. 9 o'clock. And it's still going to be p.m. The next one is the opposite. Here's 4 o'clock, but now they want 1 hour before. So what that means is you, instead of going normally around the clock, you're going to go backwards to figure out because you're going before. So before 4 is 3 o'clock. And then the other kind of problem they might have you do is, let's say it's 2 o'clock a.m., and they want you just to go 30 minutes more. Well, that's relatively straightforward because the 2 is going to stay exactly the same. The only thing that's going to change on you there is you're going to get 30 minutes after, right? I'm going to show you a couple of the pages you are going to be doing for me here. Here you have to look at the clock and then figure out 1 hour before. So that's 1 hour backwards. Here they did 1 hour after, right? Here you're going to be comparing 2 times. Like this is, let's see, 3 o'clock. This is 2 o'clock. And let's see, I have to use the word before or after so that it makes sense. So I'm going to read this whole thing like it's a sentence. 3 o'clock is 1 hour what? 2 o'clock. Well, 3 o'clock is after 2 o'clock. Right? Because 3 o'clock is after 2 o'clock. My suggestion is to do the times first and then see which word makes sense in here. Because when I did this one, 5 o'clock, and I did this one, oh, my bad, 5 o'clock, and I did this one, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock is 1 hour before 5 o'clock. So it just kind of seems like it's almost like a reading activity too. You have to look at the clocks, figure out the times, figure out the before and after as it makes sense in the sentence. So these are not as easy as you think. I didn't give you a lot of them though. Here you're doing the same thing, but you're doing it with 30 minutes instead of 1 hour. So the first couple were 1 hours. Now we're doing 30 minutes. Let's try this one. So we have 8 o'clock. Here we have 8. It's still 8 something. It's not on 9 yet, so it's 8:30. And I'm going to try before, and I'm going to try after and see what it makes sense. 8 o'clock is before 8:30, or 8 o'clock is after. It's before, right? It's, yeah. I took the 30 minutes out because sometimes I actually think that makes it harder to understand what they're saying. 8 o'clock is before 8:30. Makes sense. If I get the 30 minutes in there, it's another thing I have to think about. And sometimes that can be too much for me. Oh, and then we have a choice between a couple different math games for you. We have a jumble of sums that you can try, all about spring and butterflies and flowers, where you're finding sums of 8. Or we have a super ... but I don't actually know what it is. So you would be doing me a favor if you did this one. Both of them are fine, but I don't actually know even what this thing is. So you could figure it out and let me know. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.